Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Invasion Shoot, Invasion Production Series of the Invasion Shoot. You can see us at YouTube/Invasion Shoot. We are here with a very special guest today, Black Sheep Bobby Doll.
Very special.
Very special. Hey, Bob.
Special. Hey, how you doing?
Thank you for being here, man.
You're welcome.
We've had a lot of people ask, when are you going to do a Bobby Doll shoot? And they asked, we deliver. You called me last night and said, hey, man, I want to do one. Perfect. People want to see it. So
I did.
Was that a direct product of the message board that I made? Because people,
they love the message.
Because I asked them, I did a post that said, who do you want to see? And a couple of them said Bobby Doll. So
right.
I imagine that's why.
I'm a big fan of Jerry Runner's message board, by the way.
Right.
Go do it. Go every chance you get.
Today is
Unless you have kids.
Today's April 24th.
20-something.
Is this Jerry's birthday?
No.
Oh, it's not?
No, I'm just giving that so people know exactly when this is being shot. It's
okay.
24th, 2008. You can see Bob at the American Legion Post 33 on May 3rd.
Mayhem!
He'll be at Ultimate Wrestling, which we'll touch on later. But seriously, Bob,
yes.
thank you for doing these. Thank you for doing this. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. You've got a lot to talk about. So we'll get right into it. And one of the first questions we always like to ask on these is, how did you become a fan of pro wrestling?
I was young.
No, you needed the money?
Yeah, I needed the money. I've always been a fan. I used to go when I was a little kid all the time, and I used to watch Andre the Giant. And let's see, who else, man? I was a big fan of just the old school guys.
Now, this was in Pensacola?
Yes. I was a kid, and and I was just hooked on it.
Sure.
So.
That's when they were doing the smaller, intimate venues.
It was actually, let's see here, it was actually Continental.
Really?
Yes, Continental Wrestling.
So did you go see it live or watch it on TV?
I would go see it every Sunday down at the, where was that? It was at the end of Palafox.
Bayfront Auditorium?
Yes.
Bayfront Auditorium?
It was in Bayfront.
Any notable guys come through that you saw that you really enjoyed?
Andre, I saw, who else did I see? I saw Harley Race, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. Which actually back then he was Terry the Hulk Boulder.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. So you watched it? Did you watch it constantly from the time you were a little kid to the time you started? So you were always a fan of pro wrestling.
I was Mark.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. You can use Mark or fan.
Fan, Mark.
Right. At what point did you get at an age or a point in watching it when you went, you know what, I like this, but I also want to do it?
I was a senior in high school. And I told everybody that that's what I was going to be when I grew up.
In high school, you were telling people that.
And when I was 17 years old, I had went to the Border Street Arena.
Uh-huh.
I walked in there and I said, "Hey, man, I've always wanted to do this." And this guy laughed at me and said, "You're too small. Get out of here, kid."
Who was it?
It was a janitor.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was.
Yes, it was.
Was that the guy's
Yes,
gimmick?
it was.
Was it
the actual
Nope.
If that was his gimmick, I know shows that'll book him.
I'm telling you right now, man, that's the honest to God truth. I walked in there and I was so excited because I was going to pay, and I was going to train. And this guy with a broom, he just said, "Kid, you're too small. Get out of here."
The janitor kayfabe.
Yeah.
Wow. So
I got Jones by the janitor.
Wow. So
Yeah.
at what point did you go from the janitor hate to actually finding somebody who was training?
I kind of gave up the dream there. Joined a rock band later on.
You did join a rock band.
Yes.
What was the name of the rock band?
Oh God, there were so many. But the band that I was probably most known in was this band called Legacy, and I was the lead singer.
Yeah, you were.
Yes, I was. And what did we do? We actually traveled the country, had out a CD, and then the band dumped me for this other singer.
You got DLR'd.
Yes, I did, and I was depressed. And my best friend came by and said, "Let's go to a wrestling match."
Mm-hmm.
So we went down to
Your best friend's name was?
Kenny Price.
Kenny Price.
Kenny Price.
One of the guys that
Kenny
brought
the
me in.
Ninja Warrior. Kenny said that he would train if I trained, so we went down and we saw one of Sika's shows down off of what was the name of that
Where
street?
was that place? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
World Wrestling Family, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was at a certain building right down there by Cheryl's house. You know where Cheryl?
I sure do, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of that building.
Oh, and I can't even remember the street. But anyway, that's where he had his shows. So I walked in there, and this was so funny, man. I walked in there, and I said, "Sika," I said, "I have got to train. I want to be a wrestler." And I'm going to tell you this. The man looked at me and said, "You're too small, kid. I can't train you." And I actually pulled out $2,000, and he hugged me and he said, "Welcome to the family, brother." And I said, so, money talked. And so for the first 6 months, I was a tackling dummy because they had guys like Kokina, which was Yokozuna later on. And so then I was his tackling dummy for 6 months. And there was 16 students started out.
What year was this, just so we can kind of get...
89.
Okay.
89, yeah, 89. So then there was 16 students started out. Only 2 were there at the end, and it was me and this other guy named John. And they beat my tail.
Sure.
They beat my tail.
Come on.
For...
You want me to curse for you, Bob?
No,
I can do that for you.
No, let him go.
They actually whipped my tail for 6 months. 6 months straight. And then finally, who was that? It was Seekus as well. If he's not going to quit, then let's just train him. And so then that's what happened. But
Okay.
I mean, all I was a tackling dummy.
How did training go?
Training went pretty
after
good.
the tackling dummy, how did that go for you? Did you catch on quick, or
Oh, yeah.
were you
Yeah.
did you naturally grab on? You didn't struggle with it at all?
No, I was a natural at it.
Okay. How long did you train before you had your first match?
Probably 7 months.
Okay.
7
Do you
months.
remember your first match?
Yes, I did.
Who did you wrestle?
The guy that I was training with, as a matter of fact. I had dropped the F-bomb over 32 times in that match out loud because that was all I knew. It was the big hip toss match. I was so nervous. But you know what? That night after that show, and I'll never forget this, we were out getting gas. And it was up in Pritchard.
You told me this story.
That's where you had your first match?
Pritchard, yes. We were up getting gas. And there was probably, 16 or probably, 17 gangsters hanging around the gas station. And then, who was that, man? It was me and John and Eddie Pittman, and it was Brad Armstrong was there. And all I saw was big old Rick Lamb. Okay, I don't know if you know Rick Lamb or not.
Okay.
Yeah. This guy kept coming up to Rick Lamb. This guy was probably 4'2". And I saw Rick, all I saw was Rick palm this guy and just shove him. And this guy rolled like 30 yards. And so Terry, my wife, was in the car, and I said, babe, I will tell you what, I said, look, you know what, you just pumped the gas. And so then about 15 more of these gangsters come out of the back of the building. And so then it was me and Eddie Pittman, and it was Rick Lamb was standing there, and it was Brad Armstrong. And out of nowhere comes Kokina, which is Yokozuna, pulls up in his Cadillac, jumps out, and I'm going to tell you what, this is where Banzai came from. He jumps out of the car and says, Banzai! And he runs right into the middle of them, and that's where this big gang fight started.
Rumble.
My first night in the business, and here's this gang fight going on.
Nice.
Rumble and Pritchard.
So I just yell out, Terry, get gas! So, actually, Terry